Should you have a resume as a high school student if you're applying for US colleges? That's what we're going to find out in today's video, and there may or definitely will be a free resume template towards the end of the video if you decide to stick around. As a high school student, you'll be using a website called Common App where you can overall apply to up to 20 colleges in the US. It removes the redundancy of having to fill out personal information, education stuff again and again. So you can just have everything in one place and just send out your college information. In the requirements section under the optional part, many colleges have the option to upload a resume. And while this is optional, many colleges do still strongly recommend it. Some examples of colleges that ask for this optional resume include Brown University, Carnegie Mellon, Princeton, and even Northeastern. Now, when it comes to college applications, if you are serious about getting into a top university, adding these optional documents like the portfolio and your resume is the right way to go about it because it gives you the opportunity to showcase your communication skills, presentation skills, and also shows that you as a student have gone the extra mile in submitting an optional document that 50% of the students probably avoided anyway. Now, before we get into the format of the actual resume itself, I want to go over a do not list. And that, first of all, includes not repeating your activities that you've already added in your Common App profile. Now, Common App gives you the option to add up to 10 activities. And in your resume, you shouldn't just copy paste and add those 10. It's just looking redundant, not good at all. The second thing is avoid making your resume too general and full of cliches. If you're talking about a different activity, you actually need to explain it in about 1 to 2 lines, 150 characters. Remember, as a high school student, you do not have too much of professional experience. So activities, summer experiences, internships, these are the kind of things that your resume will contain mostly of. Now, if you're planning to come to the US, the one thing you'll need as soon as you land is a US SIM card. And I'd like to thank Mint Mobile, the partner of today's video. They have got you covered. Now, the minute you try to explore options for US SIM cards, you'll be bombarded with options that range upwards of $50 a month, even $70 a month, just for a simple phone plan. Phone plans definitely shouldn't be this expensive, especially if you are an international student on a budget. There's a much better option. Mint Mobile at just $15 per month offers unlimited talk, text, and data of 5G. If you need a physical SIM, they will mail it for you, or you can simply use their eSIM. The link is going to be in the description below. You guys can get your phone plan for as low as $15 per month. Check them out. Now let's jump into the format of the resume itself. Your resume will start out with the education section, which will be on the top. This is the most basic section. You don't have to overcomplicate this. Your high school name, the years for your high school, which is very important. It should be a duration of 4 years. You can include your grade if you're comfortable doing that. If you don't feel confident enough, avoid that in total. And that's pretty much about it. You don't have to add like middle school or elementary school, nothing. Just high school is more than enough. That then brings us to our experiences section. Now, within the experiences section, you'll have a variety of things you can showcase. The most important thing is we need to go in chronological order, which means that most recent on the top, and then you go back in the timeline. Within chronological order, you'll be including your activities, honors, internships, volunteering work, anything and everything will go into the section. Unlike the Common App, you will not have subdivisions within your resume. So within the experience, let's say that you want to demonstrate an activity that you haven't showcased in your Common App. What you'll do is you will add your position, where that organization was, the duration of when you spent time, and a few bullet points going over what you actually did in that particular activity. Remember, it is best to quantify the data, which means use numbers. For example, if you were the social media manager at a small club in your school, you can talk about how many followers you were able to grow when you were in that position. Or you can talk about a video that you got a lot of views on and it was you who curated the idea and the production behind that video. If you run another like robotics club in your school, you can talk about how many members you grew that into, or a competition that you went for, or fundraising money that you were able to get. These bullet points will go into the description of the experience itself. if there is an honor that is associated with that particular activity, you can also list it as a bullet point. Do not list that separately in general, because then there's no context and it's really hard for the reader to understand where that particular honor is coming from. The next thing is, there is one scenario where you can repeat an activity that you've already mentioned in Common App again in your resume, and that is, let's say you have an activity where you did a lot, but since Common App only gives you 150 characters, you are not able to explain the depth and the focus of that particular activity. In that scenario, it's okay for you to put it on your resume. The main idea here is the description when you write for that activity should be different from what you've already written in Common App. So it should serve as like an extension rather than repetition. You would add more details that are new and not overlapping with what you've already added in your application. And then it is okay for you to actually add it to your resume. Lastly, as a high school student, remember, technically, you don't have professional full-time experience because you're still a student, you're learning. Colleges completely understand that. So your resume just should be 1 page. Do not make 2, 3, 4 pages resumes. It really gets over-exaggerating and can kind of irritate the person who's reading it if you start, overhyping stuff for no good reason. That kind of comes off as a bluff. All right, so with all of this, the good part, the resume templates, the instructions on how you're going to get that is going to be to sign up for the Ivy League 101 sneak peek, and you'll be able to access the free resume template there. You're going to click on make a copy to make a duplicate copy of that particular resume template, and that should be good to go. You guys can use the template as you find fit. Remember to consider all of the points we talked about in this video. And if you're watching this video, please make sure you're uploading this optional document within your college application. It is going to be a huge thing and help you push forward. Like the video, subscribe if you're watching till this point, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.